So welcome to nightlenses.com chat, where we talk to night lens wearers to give other people who are considering them a bit of an insight to find out what it's all about. And it's great. We got Lucas and Paulette Mum here, and so they're based down in South London. And yeah, listen, thanks so much for joining us, guys. And so, Lucas, I know you've been wearing for a couple of years now, and Mum Paulette, you have myopia yourself, so you've been through it all. So Lucas, I'll start with you then. So yeah, so what you're 16 now, right? So what age roughly was it when you started with night lenses?
Probably around 14, sort of around 2-ish years ago. That's when I started.
Okay, and before that, glasses, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And what was the glasses experience like for you?
I got used to them pretty quickly. I sort of accepted that I had to wear them and just got on with it, really. Sort of after a while, didn't really notice that I was wearing them.
Right. So my son is very similar age to you. In fact, you're the same age, and I know that he was similar. He had glasses, I think, from a similar age to you, sort of in primary. But then he was smashing them all the time because of sports and things and whatever. Is that your sort of memory, or were you less of a glasses smasher?
Well, I didn't really play a lot of sports, so all of my glasses managed to survive.
Yeah, I think he just used to sit on them and throw them everywhere, and that was his thing. So, and when you went into night lenses, what was your memory of them to start with? And I think be really open about this, because we've got a lot of other mums and dads out there and teenagers probably watching this to get a real view. And I'll lead here. My oldest, he did okay with them. My second one's 4 weeks in. He's struggling, right? He's struggling to put them in and out. What was your experience, Lucas?
It took me a long time to initially get them in. I think whenever I got close, I'd always blink. But after I'd practiced getting them in at the opticians and started doing it at home, it only took me a few nights before I was able to get pretty comfortable with it.
So did you never think about giving up?
I did at one point, but sort of after I'd gotten over the idea of giving up, I sort of just went along with it, and just how it's been.
Because so my second lad who's going through them now, he's got this involuntary blink. He can't stop, right? I see Mum nodding, so we've got the same.
Yeah, that's exactly what Lucas had as well.
Just got to take time and get over it.
And he's sort of saying, I said to him, well, why don't you give up? And he said, well, actually, what he loves is the freedom of not having anything, no glasses, nothing in his eyes, is what it's all about for him. Is it, and that's what's pulling him through? Was that what it was for you that pushed it through now?
Yeah, that definitely did help me get through it. Yeah, but yeah.
So you got through it, right? So what? A few weeks, 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 10 weeks? What was it?
More than 10 weeks, a good few months, put it that way.
Yeah.
Every few days going into the optician and trying there, and once he'd actually mastered it there once or twice, we were allowed to do it at home. And the first week, it kind of went from an hour down to about 10 minutes in the space of a week. So actually, once he got used to putting them in at home, it was quite a quick process.
Yeah,
that's a long time. And a quick nod here to Mohammed Kasmani, of course, who's your optometrist. He's a bit of a legend down your part. So I mean, what's great? He's very patient.
Oh yeah,
he was very patient. Yes,
great. And I think you're looking back now. This is a couple of years ago, right? So it was worth the pain, worth the effort, right? Is that what you're saying now?
Yeah, definitely.
And what does life mean to you now with night lenses?
Well, it doesn't. I don't really think about that a lot. I just take them in and out and get on with my day. I don't really think about what it's like not wearing day lenses or not wearing glasses.
You prefer not wearing glasses, don't you?
It's just easier that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where I was chatting to my son, and he said that loads of people have worn them for a while, and they say it's weird because you sort of almost forget in a way that you have an eyesight, that you need eye care, because you're not putting glasses on, you're not carrying things around, stuff like that. So we talk about the freedom of these things. Is that what you mean, where you don't really think about it because it's just free, right?
Yeah.
So Mum, looking back yourself here, you obviously had short sight myopia when you were young. Did that have any bearing on seeing Lucas coming through and your decision to sort of go into night lenses and as opposed to the glasses and day lenses route?
Well, ultimately, it would have been Lucas's choice. If he'd wanted to stick with glasses, I wouldn't have had an issue with that. But knowing the freedom of not having to wear glasses, it is amazing, really. I don't enjoy wearing glasses now. And to give him the opportunity to actually do something to stop him wearing glasses during the day was a no-brainer, really. Why not?
Absolutely. So, and when you were young, we had a chat pre this, used to play a bit of badminton and things like that. So, you know, for just doing things, whether it's sports or just living life, right? I mean, it's just, well, I was, as a child with glasses, I have specs on now, they would slip down my nose and all those kind of things, right? I mean, did you find that was a sort of a thing you had as a child that was sort of ingrained in your memory, if you like, quite strong?
Not really. I didn't actually start wearing glasses till probably either very late teens or early 20s when I started working. But even so, I was contact lens wearer from the start. I didn't ever wear glasses because I was not comfortable with the idea of having them on my face. So to wear lenses for probably about 10, 15 years before I had my eyes lasered was pretty free, because you don't obviously haven't got anything on your face, but you're still relying on something to make you see better. And then, of course, you still have that contrast when you take them out. You still can't see.
Yeah, and so you've had laser treatment. So a lot of people we speak to have had laser treatment, and I think I'm definitely, as a parent, myself and my wife, thinking, well, this is great. You know, hopefully my boys can grow up and not have to have laser treatment. You know, we've got a bit of stabilization with the myopia, which is great. We can see them sort of going on. So is that, you know, that's my wish as a parent. Does that factor in as someone who's had laser treatment yourself?
Yeah, I think actually in hindsight, although I appreciated the laser treatment at the time and I benefited for quite a few years, had this been around when I was younger, I might actually have done that, because it wouldn't then give you that long-term damage to your eyes that laser treatment does.
Well, that's interesting, actually, because other things people say is that if you're considering laser treatment, then this is a good way to test it out, right? Because you get the same freedom of not having anything. So you just really like it, right? So if that would have been suggested to you, was that something you think in hindsight you might have given it a go if you'd been eligible, or?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. I mean, I'm not saying no. It depends on your finances, I think, at the time, because like the one-off hit for laser treatment is literally that one-off hit, whereas something like the night lens is obviously an ongoing cost.
Yeah.
So maybe the finance side of it would have come into it, but certainly in hindsight, I would have done the lens rather than the laser.
That's a good point. So it's important that people look at the long-term costs. So you have the monthly fee on it, and then I think when you sort of work it out, it all roughly sort of works out in the wash sort of roughly the same, I think, because if you have even like the day lenses over time, it's a similar type of thing. But I think that's really important, isn't it? And I think all optometrists will take you through, but it's important to ask your optometrist, your optician, you know, what it's about. And just back onto, you know, Lucas struggling, because that's a long time, you know, 10 weeks. And but saying that, we're a good sort of four weeks in, my son is still struggling. So as a parent, what tips do you have for parents? Because I know for myself, and I'll be honest, it's more my wife who does this. I'll admit that she has more patience than me, and she's just a better human being than me, full stop. So, yeah. So, but what advice and tips do you have for parents whose, you know, teens may be struggling to get used to them?
Be patient. You know, if you can see that your child really wants to do it, then you have to be patient with them. Don't get annoyed with them. It's not their fault. It's an involuntary thing, that blink, and they really can't do much to stop it. And Lucas was so determined he wanted to do it. He didn't want to give up. Mr. Kasmani at one point almost gave up on him, and he said, no, Lucas really wants to do this. So just persevere and be patient.
Really. And what was the final breakthrough for you guys?
I don't think there was one. It was just practice and eventually getting it right.
Yeah, so you had involuntary blink kind of thing. Was that your thing?
Yeah, that was definitely it. So if you do it long enough, then it sort of just goes away.
Yeah, so which is where you got. And when I was just a bit older than you, I went for sort of very early GP lenses, and I had really tight eyelids, and when I used to ping them out over, you know, I ping these things and they've disappeared. It's very hard and stuff. So that's brilliant. Thank you. And I'm going to ask you the obvious question, which is, you know, would you recommend night lenses to other sort of teenagers, people your own age, and why would that be?
I think if you really don't want to have anything on your face, like lenses or glasses, then definitely go for it. But if it's not a huge concern for it, then I'd say just stick with what you've got. It's not worth switching over if it's going to cause a lot of hassle and it doesn't really affect you.
Yeah, and that's, I think, is really sage advice. You know, what we're not saying here is everyone should do these things. I think it's down to the individual, and I think, you know, you persevered, and it sounds like you're pleased with that. Fair play to you for persevering. You know, I'd love to think my boys have persevered for so long, you know, I don't think they would, to be honest. So I think that shows a huge amount about your character, Lucas, to be honest. And then and mum, you know, same question to you really. Other parents looking at this, if you wound the clock back, you're looking at this, considering, Lucas, you know, what advice would you give to your sort of former self and other parents, you know, about this? Why would you recommend them?
I think for Lucas, I think would definitely recommend them, because although it's obviously a freer way of life of not having lenses, not having glasses, sorry, it's actually then also stopped his eyes from getting worse. Sorry, that was a cat. It's actually stopped his eyes from getting worse. I think we tried an experiment a few weeks ago where Lucas didn't wear lenses for a week, and then we went back to see how much his eyes had actually deteriorated, and they were almost no difference this time, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But the trajectory his eyes were on, there would have been a marked difference had he not had the night lenses.
Absolutely. Yeah, so my son was about a -4 when he started. So the trajectory for him, by the time he'd hit about 30, he wouldn't be able to see the chart, let alone the top letter. He's still now just about a -4, just over. He's stabilized. What's interesting is there was someone who was the same age as him, another of our case studies, who had pretty much the same prescription, but started age 9, so a lot earlier, and he's just above a -2. And you know, my son's just turned 17, so he's the whole thing about driving and things. And when you look at it at the legal driving limit, and there's a marker from that, and look at the chart, it's huge. So I think myself as a parent, I think, you know, thank God we did start. And I think I share your view on that. That it's brilliant to have that stabilization, right?
Yeah, that has had a big difference on you, hasn't it? Actually?
Yeah.
And then obviously with his appendicitis as well, and not wearing his lenses for about another week, it then knocked him back again. So he's probably only now just getting used to wearing them again. Yeah. If your eyes are stable again now?
Yeah, they're definitely stable now.
Yeah. Just to say, so poor old Lucas, we were due to do this interview a little while ago, and then he got struck down by appendicitis. So you've had a tough time, but you're looking well, and I'm glad you're getting over it. And so listen, good luck. You're into your lower 6th now, of course, so good luck with your A levels and everything. Thank you so much, guys, for helping us out with this. I think this has been really good because it's been open, it's been honest. You know, about it's hard work for some people, but if you get it right, you know, the benefits are fantastic. So thank you so much for your time, guys. And so it's been great. If you're after any more advice and information, or indeed you want to see any more interviews like this, then head to nightlenses.com. Thank you.
Thank you.